Croydon Chats is powered by TBXH, more than just a workspace. It's a thriving community built on collaboration, connection, and shared growth, home to businesses, creatives, and innovators shaping Croydon every day. Discover more at tbxh.co.uk. Today on Croydon Chats, we're joined by Sonya Russo, the Corporate Partnerships Manager at Legacy Youth Zone. Welcome, Sonia, to Croydon Chats. It is a pleasure to have you on our sofa.
Thank you for having me.
So for anybody that hasn't heard about Legacy Youth Zone, in a nutshell, what is it?
So Legacy is a state-of-the-art mega youth club, youth centre really. It's 7 years old. We're coming up to our 7th anniversary this September. Importantly, we have been built in North Croydon, which is one of the highest deprivation areas of Croydon. So it's really important that it was built there. It gives immediate access to the families that need that service the most. I think rather than, what everyone thinks about a youth club, or it's, there's a ping pong table, a little craft box in the corner.
Sure.
It completely blows that stereotype out of the way. It's the size of a secondary school. It's got 20 dedicated rooms. What we focus on is learning and skills and helping young people reach their potential. So we have got an art and craft room where you can do fashion design with our supporters at Burberry. We've got a pottery that goes on there, enterprise that goes on in our media room. We've got a recording studio, a training kitchen.
Yeah.
It has everything that a young person needs to move forward with their lives and find out what they like and take that forward.
Oh, fantastic. I'm just thinking back. I remember my days many decades ago of a Friday evening youth club. So this doesn't sound anything like what I used to go to.
Exactly the same for me. It was a church hall with a couple of chairs and we were kind of left to our own devices, which, could cause a little bit of bother. But this is so different because there's structured activities and there's always new partners coming in. So any term there'll be something different. Like at the moment, we've got rugby happening with Dilalio Rugby, and they're also doing CV skills with the kids as well. So there's always something new, as well as the regular program that we offer. It's for children aged 8 to 19. So we do a junior session, which is for 8 to 12-year-olds. And then our seniors are 12 to 19. And we also support the SEN community and children with additional needs. And we've got a special provision for them on a Sunday called Beyond Limits. And that goes up to the age of 25. And that's really special because parents and carers can come along. So it's great for that community that, often when you're supporting a child with additional needs, it can be quite lonely and quite isolating. And so on that Sunday, parents can come and connect, have our trusted youth workers support their children, and they can have a breather and a bit of a break and connect with other parents.
Oh, that's fantastic, Sonia. And I think that's important. There is such a rise in neurodiversity and SEN. The government have just rewritten the education curriculum this year, which is out for consultation. But we don't hear enough about actually what happens the 6 other days of the week, and where is that wraparound support for both carers and the individuals?
I mean, we've got 25% of our 3,500 members at Legacy.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a big. So we've got 3,500 members at Legacy, and 25% of them have additional needs. It's as more children get diagnosed, there's a growing need for this kind of support. And what's great about Legacy is, yes, they can come to that Sunday session, but once they feel a bit more confident, they start coming to our universal sessions. So what I love about Legacy is you can go in on any one evening and you've got a bunch of kids there who go to the private schools. You've got your local comp kids. You've got kids that are in care. We've got a huge care population in Croydon. And we've got children that are refugees and asylum seekers and kids that are in between schools or getting homeschooled.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful melting pot of children who are so supportive of each other. You know, I've had done a few kind of Q&As, and we've got some celebs in, and you know the kids all gather, and you know the children with autism and ADHD are front and center, putting their hands up, wanting to be engaged, and the other children really, really support them. So it's really beautiful to see how accepting of a community they all are, and how all the children support each other, even though there's lots of differences.
Yeah. And I think that's the key. I think, you know, everybody has their own unique traits. So the fact that, you know, you're celebrating differences rather than making it more apparent, you know, it's like that tapestry, that fabric that knits and weaves together. You mentioned celebrities. So talk to me about some of your high profile, do a bit of name dropping. Who wants to get involved with Legacy?
Everybody. I mean, we've had the King of Croydon down. We've had Stormzy down.
Oh, wow.
He's paid a couple of visits now, I believe, and you know, very kind of no media, no fanfare, kind of rocks up and spend some quality time with the kids. And then he's really special. You know, I think he made a remark like, oh, you know, I'm gonna get you guys some tickets to watch the Arsenal game. You never tell our kids that you're going to do something,
because they'll hold you to it.
You're going to have to deliver. And my gosh, he delivered.
Oh,
he
wow.
got them tickets to the Arsenal game in the corporate box with Adidas. Adidas kitted out the kids head to toe, new trainers, new kit. And they were, you know, at the corporate buffet with Ian Wright and Stormzy. And for, you know, for kids for Croydon, that is an absolute dream come true. And they got to experience that, you know, thanks to Stormzy and his connections.
Wow.
We've had a couple of the sidemen down as well. Most recently, we had Vic down. And again, it was, you know, it was just bonkers. The following. As soon as he walked in the building, these kids have just like swarmed on him. But we really appreciate people like this coming down, recognising our kids. You know, it's sometimes when I think with some celebrities, they're like, oh, Croydon, you know, come on down. You'll be safe, you know, in Legacy. And I think these young celebrities that we get, and they're real inspiration to our kids. You know, often we do sometimes get, you know, your lawyers down and your engineers down, and there are a bunch of kids that, you know, are like that and they want to find out about that industry. But whenever we have a celebrity down to support us, it's absolutely amazing. Most recently with our music program, we've got really talented kids in our music studio. And so I've been at Legacy about 8 months, and when I was very young, in my 20s, I used to work for a magazine called Rewind.
Okay, I remember.
Do you remember?
Yes, I remember Rewind.
So it was all about the grime and hip hop, and so I was listening to the guys kind of perform in the studio, and I thought, this is not your average talent. This is exceptional talent. But I needed to sense check. So I spoke to DJ Semtex, who I came across back in my Rewind days. And Semtex is a Capital Extra DJ, does their Friday night hip hop show. He's also a A&R director for Sony. And he's got a long, kind of illustrious career supporting Kanye West on tour. If you're going to hip hop in the UK, DJ Semtex is your man. So I thought, right, let me pull in one of my little favours. I got him down to the studio. We did our normal kind of Q&A, and you know, the kids are typical kids. How much money do you earn? And after that, I said, look, do you mind if some of the kids perform? And you know, we got 6 of our finest performers up, and Semtex has never left. Wow. He heard those kids perform. He was absolutely blown away by the talent. You know, we aren't a musical theatre school. Really, the musical talent comes from our youth workers and our kids grafting and performing. And so within a couple of weeks, Semtex agreed to be our music ambassador.
I like that. That's a great title.
And if you're an up and coming rapper, to have access to one of the industry's finest mentors. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So immediately from that, we've had, I think, 3 or 4 of our young people go on to Capital Extra for interviews. One of our young men, Money, he goes by the name of Muni. Check him out.
I was going to say it's not spelled traditional.
No, it's on iTunes and Spotify right now. His song went viral.
Oh,
so
wow.
Semtex was reposting it on his platform, gotten onto Capital Extra, and this, young 15-year-old lad from Croydon, his song's gone viral, and he's got, millions of views now on TikTok. Our producer, who I've got to give him a nod to, Ashley, he was a young person at Legacy.
Yeah.
And our team there discovered he had real musical talent, and Ashley struggled with ADHD, so he had a bit of a difficult time at school, and then COVID hit.
Oh gosh, that's a proper storm in a teacup, isn't it?
Massive impact for our young people. Suddenly they're at home and they're isolated, and Legacy did their best to do kind of digital outreach, and we gave Ashley a MacBook and the programs for him to learn how to be a producer and a keyboard. And over that summer period, he had taught himself how to play the piano.
Wow. I mean, that's talent, isn't
yeah, he's
it?
a musical genius, and taught him all about production.
Okay.
He's now our in-house producer. And again, Semtex saw him and realised, actually, he is the key to all of this. And now Ashley is freelancing with Sonya Music with their new talent, and is producing songs for new rappers signed to Sony.
Oh my goodness.
So fantastic.
Yeah.
We've seen this young boy who's joined us at 14, 15, struggling at school.
Yeah.
He's then stayed with us, become a youth worker, paid for a role, supporting other children like himself. And now he's been given this opportunity. And that's what Legacy is all about.
Yeah.
Seeing someone's talent and supporting them to reach their potential. And then through the Semtex Association, we had DJ AG come down. I don't know if you know about DJ AG.
I mean, I'm nodding my head. I'm probably not as done with the kids.
So DJ AG, again, another COVID superstar. He popped up as this mobile DJ and would go to King's Cross in the middle of the high street, set up his decks.
Yes.
And then everyone would crowd round.
I've seen him online.
So he's famous for doing that, and he goes to care homes.
Yes.
And so
yes, I've seen him. He gets the grannies moving.
Yes, he's fantastic. And he's so wholesome as well. And he's really, really positive influence about what youth music can do for all ages. And I mean, we tried to get him down a few times. And again, I think it was probably all Croydon. But when DJ Semtex co-signed it, DJ AG, as a fan of Semtex, was like, okay, I need to be there and see these kids. And then we ended up getting news coverage. We got millions of views through his platform, and My London News came down. So it's we've been able to give these kids a massive platform.
Amazing.
One final thing with the Semtex program is what we're doing over this summer. Hopefully, is we're running an 8-week course for our seniors who are into music. And he is doing an 8-week program, and each week he brings another industry expert in. So we've got the lawyers for DBE Europe and RD coming in to talk about contracts, what to look out for if you're going to go independent, if you're going to sign. These are things you need to know, because kids are taking music into their own hands. They don't wait to get signed anymore. And we want to make sure that when they're making their moves, they know what they're doing. We've got manager Albie coming down. Again, he's RD's manager. We've got the head of African music for Sony coming down. So this program is going to be absolutely fantastic. And teach the kids about the music industry, how to navigate it. But importantly, from me being with my mum hat on, we can't all be Stormzy.
No.
We can't all be the next, H. So there's a really amazing careers you can have outside of being the artist. So I'm really hoping that these lawyers, these A&R guys, these managers come and inspire young people to go into other parts of the industry in music.
Definitely.
I think one of the things that struck me initially when I was talking to one of the boys about music, and I was like, oh, do you enjoy it as a hobby? And he was like, I'm going to stop you there. And I was like, oh, okay. He said, music isn't a hobby. This is a lifeline for me. This
Oh my
is how
goodness.
I can get out of the situation my family's in. This is how I can have those dreams and be part of the world that how I want to be.
Yeah.
And that kind of really stopped me in my tracks. And I
Yeah.
thought, this, this music provision, our sporting provision, our media provision, it's more than just having something to do in the evening.
Yeah.
This could change my life.
Yeah.
And when we look at Ashley and what he's doing with his producing, I'm seeing that happen in real time. And that's what inspires me to keep getting down these celebrities, keep getting these professionals down. You need to see these kids.
Yeah.
We got no Nepo babies,
Yeah.
These kids have to graft for it.
Absolutely.
And I think when you have to graft for it, you're going to get there, which is why Croydon has so much talent in music and sport.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting. There's so many things that you've said that I'd love to unpack with you. And one of the things, using and leveraging that network in a way that has such positive impact and influence, and planting those seeds that will be the catalyst for flourishing careers and lives, which is absolutely fantastic. And part of that, I mean, what you've just described there, just with that 8-week program alone, Sonia, is, I mean, you wouldn't get that in university.
No.
So you're creating something that is exceptional, that's practical, that actually, if I were the education minister and listened to you speak, that vocational support that you're providing supersedes what's happening in our classrooms.
Yeah.
And there was something that you said there that mentioned about, Croydon. All I'm hearing, what you're describing it, is incredibly aspirational people and examples.
Yeah.
How does that make what you do rewarding, and thinking actually, by leveraging our skills, talent, expertise network, we're forming a whole and shaping a whole generation here.
Yeah. I think, the one thing I'm always saying as I'm walking around Legacy is you have to see it to be it. And, if you're a displaced family and you've just come to the UK, if you're in care, if your mum and dad are out working, in the NHS and the healthcare industry, sometimes people have a limited view of what's available to them. And I hate to think, from my experience previous to working at Legacy, I worked with young boys and girls in youth offender institutions.
Okay.
And so many of them just couldn't see what the world could be for them because they hadn't seen it in their own network and they couldn't see a way out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the biggest things we did with the organisation that I did in the youth offenders was give these young men and women, when they left, their first ever passport, their first access to a bank account. And those two little things and can change the trajectory of their life. And at Legacy, I think when you're a kid who comes to Legacy, it's because you want to get on in life, because you don't want to be held back by the commotion down in West Croydon, the scuffles on the high street. You want somewhere to be with like-minded people, and you want to crack on. And it's a privilege to give these kids, these celebrities, these professionals, to come down. And you should, when they do, even if, like I said, even if it is an engineer from HDR around the corner, they're open mouth. They want to know, how did you do this? How did it? And so much so that we've got one of our seniors is now doing a work placement with HDR. So he might be on his pathway to being an engineer at one of the biggest engineering companies in the whole world.
My goodness.
So I think whenever these businesses, professionals or celebrities come down, it's never a wasted visit for them. They leave inspired, and then they come back to us and go, okay, we can sort out a work placement here actually, or that young man who asked those questions, we want to follow up with him. What's he doing? How can we support him? Because they are fantastic kids. And I think the kids of Croydon, they've got a real rough deal. they are stereotyped. And I am victim to it too. I work in Croydon now, but I live in Bromley, and when you scroll on social media, there is such negative talk about Croydon, especially the youth, that this is having a real impact on how they see themselves and the world around them. You've got to think these little 12, 13-year-olds who are scrolling through TikToks come across a page talking about that Croydon's the worst place on the planet. It's dangerous. It's deadly. Everyone in Croydon's, rough and this and that. That has a huge impact. As children, we grow up wanting to be good. We dress up as policemen and firemen. We want to help. We want to serve.
Yeah.
And as we get to kind of 9, 10 and our world opens, when someone tells us we're the bad guy, they're going to hold that to them and they're going to become that. So I think in Croydon, we really need to be careful about how we're talking about Croydon.
The power of language.
Yeah.
Language is so powerful.
It has a huge impact on our young minds.
Yeah.
And that's why any opportunity I would talk about how fantastic the kids are at Legacy.
Yeah.
You don't, you come to a youth centre like Legacy because you want better, because you don't want to be a part, of the negative side of things.
Yeah.
And Croydon has the largest youth population in England, definitely London. So we need to make sure we're all kind of rolling up our sleeves, community leaders, businesses, regeneration is happening. We have to make sure these young people are included and uplifted and made part of that.
Absolutely. Interesting enough, the timing of you coming to talk with us has just coincided recently. We've had the announcement that the government has banned social media for young people under the age of 16. Obviously, that's a core segment of young people that you deal with. What is the sentiment from what are you hearing from the young people, and also what are your thoughts on the ban?
I think that the one thing I do notice at Legacy, and it took me a while to clock it, and I was like, when someone mentions, like, oh my gosh, they're not on their phones at Legacy. It's not that we take it away from them. Sure. It's not that we ban filming. They've got things to do. They're having social interactions. I think the one reason why social media it's become so addictive is because, say you're a young person, you need your phone to communicate with mum. You're coming home from school. Mum might be working a shift. Can't go out. Some parents as well, you can't go out. This area's not safe. I don't want you to be involved in this, that, and the other. Of course,
it's become the babysitter.
It's become the babysitter, and that has replaced genuine social interactions. It's caused this kind of digital isolation, which our parent charity On Side has researched, in that children are turning to things like AI to get advice and connections from. And it's the case when our children at Legacy go home, they're interacting with it. I think social media has power for good and bad. I think a lot of education needs to go into supporting our children to navigate it. They're still going to get it when they are 16. So it's for me personally, it's a difficult one. I think where it's not regulated, we need to stop it.
Yeah.
But we then need to not ignore it. We need to still educate young people on how to use it safely and how to report things.
Of course.
But there was that clip the other day of that girl, wasn't there?
Staring at the
God bless her.
Yes.
What are you going to do when you don't have 9 hours of social media? And stare at a wall. And you're right. If we're doing this move, we need to make sure then we are investing in youth clubs, after school activities, and everyone's saying, oh, back in my day, we were out and about. Yeah, I was getting drunk in a field. I don't want that for this generation. Do you know what I mean? I was trying to sneak into pubs and clubs. So we need to make sure we've got some really good activities that are safe provisions that parents can say, okay, I'm going to let my child leave the house to go and do this. I know she's safe. We've just lost our cinema in Croydon, for example. These are the, going to the shopping centre as a kid, going to the cinema, a bit of bowling. Those are the things that you start to, try and do when you're 13, 14. So we as a community, if we want this, we've got to make sure, right, what are we doing at the back end then to make sure our children are engaged? But yeah, you know, social media at Legacy, it's just not an issue because they're having fun. They're
They're filling
interacting.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's any replacement for that in-person human connection, is there?
Yeah. Yeah. Completely.
What have you seen, you know, in terms of how that's transformed? If you can think of one or two stories of young people that have come through that have absolutely needed that space and have, it's just been so transformative for them.
Yeah. I think, you know, when young people come through our doors, we don't know their story. And it takes a little bit of time for them to build trust. And, you know, then we start hearing. So we're kind of like the next step from kind of maybe social workers, schools, and then at Youth Zone, we're picking up these stories and safeguarding around that and making sure they're safe. So, you know, we've had instances where we've had young people that have lost their parents in tragic ways. We've discovered that there's food poverty going on with, you know, kids trying to nick a few chips and a conversation happens like, well, you know, what's going on? And then we're able to support them with food packages and care packages.
Because when a child is hungry, that, you know, its survival kicks in first, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's one of the great provisions that we do at Legacy is we've got our canteen and you can access a hot meal for £1. And when I say a hot meal, we're not talking, we feed these babies. It's a huge home cooked style dinner, a snack and a drink for £1. And the charity supports that. It costs us £3 for every meal that we provide. This summer, the local Croydon Masonic Lodge, the Shirley Lodge guys, big up you guys, they've given us some money so that we can completely cover everyone's meals this summer, which is fantastic. So they were like, oh, you know, can we buy you a laptop or a piece of kit? And I said, well, actually, we need to feed these guys. Summer holidays are coming up.
That's it.
It's a huge expense for mum. If she's got 3 grown boys, you know, that fridge is going to get a battering.
No school dinners, absolutely.
Yeah, so we're picking up on that. We have food banks twice a week. No referrals, no questions asked. When mum comes to drop off the kids, the trays of produce are out there. Take what you need. And then importantly, in our training kitchen upstairs where children learn how to cook, it's fantastic. So we have 8 kids in there with our wonderful volunteer D. And they will go to Lidl with their £5 meal budget. They'll come up with the recipe, they'll cook it up, and they can take it home and share it with their family. And those skills are really important because, for instance, I think the education sector just announced that it's looking likely that home economics is going to be dropped from the curriculum.
A life skill.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Already, music is not being offered for GCSE art and drama in certain state schools. So places like Legacy are picking up this where we're falling short in the education system. And it's not just, you know, obviously you go in the training kitchen, you can do a home economics, study it, become a chef. Yes, there's industries you can go to. But there is wellbeing rewards from it, mental health rewards, you know, learning to appreciate food and where it comes from. We've got a little garden that our wonderful volunteers, Diana and Tim, have created from this bit of scrap of wasteland. It is the most beautiful garden. And now the children are learning to plant some herbs and veggies. And hopefully, if the crop goes well, we'll be taking that, bringing it to the training kitchen to do farm to fork education so they can see where food's coming from. When you live in an environment like Croydon, you're kind of really disconnected from agriculture and that side of life. So these are really important subjects that grow young people as individuals but support their mental health that they may not be accessing in schools, but they can get that at Legacy for £5 a year membership.
My goodness. That's all.
£5 a year membership, 50p per session.
Right.
And so, you can get 12 hours a week. So for a mum who, you know, wants to do her best for her child and after school clubs, football club, gymnastics club. Then we've got to do tuition.
Yes.
Then it's
It,
impossible
oh
for
my
most
goodness.
families.
Of course it
So
is.
you can access that in our library. We've got education providers who support children with their homework all the way up, you know, to GCSE level. We teach English as a second language, which is really important. If I may tell you about one story from a young man,
please do. Yes.
called Mohammed came, and his sister came a few years back, and they were refugees from Senegal. And they could barely talk any English. They were waiting to get into a school, and they've turned up at Legacy kind of wide-eyed and shocked, and were welcomed in by Pat, who's one of our volunteers, you know, the sweetheart of Croydon, this lady. And over the course of the year, she would sit with them, would teach them English as their second language. They were incredibly intelligent. She tells me a story once of when Mohammed did finally get into school, he got 97 out of 100, and he was devastated.
Why did he get those 3
Pat
points?
was like, listen, because the education expectations in Senegal are so high. And Pat was like, you're doing
You've done
doing
very
great.
well.
They wanted to take part in our football program. We got them football boots. His sister, you know, ended up falling massively in love with football. And Mohammed, we actually helped mentor him and progress him through school, through his exams, and now he is a sous chef at a really high-end restaurant in St. Paul's in London.
My goodness.
And the team went down there to meet. They made him dinner. He made them dinner, sorry. And I think for people like Pat, who put all that time and energy into this little scared lad who is in a completely foreign world, she taught him more than just English. She taught him that there was a community here in Croydon that will always be here for you. Those social skills helped him then to make friends within the youth zone. Sport would have helped his mental health. And then we've supported him all the way into finding work where he's absolutely thriving.
My goodness.
And we're hoping to have a barbecue at the end of summer where Mohammed's going to come back and get on the grills and cook for everyone that supported him. So it's stories like that make you think, right, this there is good things happening here.
There is. And it's an incredibly holistic approach where what I'm hearing is that as a team, you see the person and their potential, not the problems. And supporting and nurturing that. And it sounds like your team's incredible. So how do these fantastic volunteers get involved, and what passes your list of, you know, somebody who would fit in well with the Legacy team?
I think the first most important thing is there's about 17 or 20 of our youth workers were actually members. So that is
the lived experience.
Exactly, lived experience. So they're young people that came with us 7 years ago, kind of grown through the ranks, then become part of our program, which is called Young Leaders, where when you're a senior, then you can volunteer. So it's giving them that first experience of what volunteering is and the community and support. And then from there, once they get a little bit older, once they reach the age of 21, and with some training and support, they become youth workers. So that is fantastic. Our young people are seeing their neighbours, that cool boy that they see him play football, and that cool girl, they're at Legacy. So we have that population. And then we have this amazing volunteer population. Often they have a skill. So as I said, we've got these different rooms with different skills. So for example, we've got Diana and Tim, who are really good at arts and crafts. I think she comes from an education school background. So they've seen, right, this is where I can help and where I can support. Some of them they're retired, but they're teachers. Some of them are still teachers and volunteer for us. Some are just mums who work and want to do something, you know, to support children. Or sometimes people in the borough who are looking to change careers or get themselves some work experience. They might have been mums for 10, 15 years. Now the kids are, you know, getting older, they can go back into work. So volunteers come and work with us to include their skill set, and they never leave, which is fantastic. So again, I think that's another stereotype. You think of a youth club and you think, oh, it's all young, cool, hip youth workers. But you know, we've got volunteers up into our 60s, and I think that dynamic is so important, because if we're trying to have like this family unit, we need our cousins and nephews, but we need our mums and dads and aunties and grannies. You know, some of the youth workers will kill me when they hear that. But we need that full spectrum of people from different races, different backgrounds, different professions, to help with that 360 approach of looking after our young people.
That makes sense. And they say it takes a village.
Yes.
And I love what you've described it, just that whole intergenerational exchanges and being able to reverse mentor as well and learn from each other. You don't come from a third sector background. So I want to really delve into, you know, what you bring and how are you disrupting the charity sector?
So yes, I didn't expect to be here. So my background originally was in advertising and marketing. So I worked for big publishing houses like Bauer Media. I don't know if you remember FHM magazine.
Oh my goodness, yes.
I wasn't the FHM girl. I was about to say that. I was the FHM girl. I wasn't the FHM girl. I ran the advertising in Bauer for that, and then went on to places like the Daily Mirror and Channel 5. So a long kind of history in sponsorships and partnerships. And then I ran my own business. I ran an organisation. I got made redundant from Channel 5 when it moved to Sky, and I had 6 months gardening leave. And I'm also a mindfulness teacher. So I thought, I'll dabble in a bit of mindfulness. And after 8 months, I won a contract with the Ministry of Justice and ended up teaching mindfulness in prisons and youth offenders, which was completely unexpected, but I go.
What an opportunity.
Yes, it was amazing. So I started up a business with that. I had an amazing team of 6 teachers, and for 10 years we worked across 11 prisons, and we taught 2,000 young men emotional resilience through mindfulness. And this is where I began to come into contact with young people who were involved in serious youth violence. A lot of the young people I worked with were perpetrators of knife crime, also victims of knife crime, gang culture. And again, you know, I was, before that, I was a middle-class mum working in corporate, and suddenly I'm, face to face with what would be considered people's, worst nightmares. These are monsters. And they weren't at all. They were the result of cutting of youth services. They were result of parents having to work really hard and work extra shifts.
And as a result, being absent.
Displaced families, trying to find role models within their community and going down the wrong path. And I think we can sometimes judge them and say, they're horrors. And I've met boys in there doing life sentences who are head boys, who have 2 working professional parents. I say to people that a vulnerable young person, it takes 2 weeks to groom that child.
Wow.
That is a half-term holiday. And do not think just because you are strict at home and your son's locked up, it could happen. And those boys that I worked with were absolutely remarkable, and no different really to the other young people I see who they just wanted to get on. But they didn't have the tools to figure out how that was possible. So I did that for 10 years, and which is a lot. And after a while, it became too emotionally
I was going to
difficult.
ask, how do you look after you in that process?
It was hard because I was running the company. I was focused on looking after my team.
So you're CEO.
Support for that. In a very challenging environment. We did outreach work in the community and in prison. Over those 10 years, there were 8 boys that I worked with that passed away. I've been to more funerals than I should have been. And by the end of it, I did start to feel hopeless. I was trying to give these boys who were looking at 15 to 25 years in prison hope for the future. And then, you know, we'd celebrate when they got out, and then something tragic would happen, and I began to feel like I've kind of given all I could give. And like I said, the program went well. The research showed that their attitudes towards learning and development in prison improved, their mental health improved. And so many of the successful boys get in touch with me today to say, Miss, they still call me Miss, Miss, what you taught me, that breathing exercise, that meditation, I've taken it through. Or Miss, this is the first time in 5 years I've never been back to prison. So I hold on to that. But when I decided to stop doing that, I had a choice. I could go back to advertising and marketing. I could set something else up. But what I saw really inspired me to join Legacy. And my belief, what I took away from what I did for those 10 years was that intervention needs to happen really young. Almost like what we did with smoking, and what we're doing with social media. I would be screaming, because I used to work in people referral units as well, and other things within the community, and I used to scream that we need to start this education at 7, 8 years old, because the young boys I met were getting groomed in year 5, year 6 and year 7. We've lost them. When you throw into that then getting excluded from school and isolation, it's a catapult. So I took some time. I laid in bed for a year with my covers over my head, and then I thought, right, I need to go somewhere that is going to do this. And Legacy, it was just the right timing. When I saw it, you know, youth club starts at 8 years old, and I was fantastic. When I went down to have a look at it, I was blown away. This beautiful state-of-the-art youth centre with these facilities that far exceed some schools' provision. If we can capture that little 8-year-old boy and we can give him that support system as he grows up, we've done that job that I have set out to do. So yeah, it's been tough. Sometimes I think, God, I'd love to be in my nice air-conditioned office in my marble floors again doing deals. But it's really where my passion lies. And this job is amazing because I can bring that corporate experience into the role of charities. So, and this is why I look at bringing businesses on to Legacy as a sponsorship and promotion, you know, advertising, marketing deal. I want to make sure the businesses who support us get as much out of it as the children who are getting supported. So, for example, I'm just recovering from a massive event we put on what day was it? Wednesday. About when I first started, actually, a couple months ago, a couple months into the job, I had a chat with someone at Croydon Council on the Homes and Repairs team. And we were talking about social value, and she has these Croydon contractors who need to deliver social value, but it's really hard educating them on it because in the smaller ones, they're heating and gas engineers, and now they've got to deliver social value in the borough, and they don't really know what they're doing.
And they consider contractor programs. Correct. And
so there was a little bit of concern that this wasn't being delivered as efficiently as it should. So I put my old kind of events and marketing hat on, and I said, well, we're going to have an event that brings Croydon's contractors who've got this social value obligation directly in the hands of charities. So I'd been to other events, charity events, where you go, these network events, and you go there and there's like 40 charities and 10 funders. And I thought, no, we work too hard. I'm not doing that. We're going to reverse it. So I put the power in the charities' hands. We had 10 charities come down, all from different sectors of the borough. And it was like speed dating. So we got the contractors down. We had 20 odd contractors come down, and then each contractor would spend 5 minutes with each charity going round.
Brilliant.
And they could say, look, this is what we need, whether it's funding, volunteer, skills. Every charity has different needs. And it was an amazing success. And I didn't wait for Croydon Council to organise it. I didn't wait for someone. I just thought, this is what the whole borough, the whole charity
Yeah.
sector in Croydon needs.
Yeah.
Let's see it. So I think sometimes I'm coming in and seeing solutions to issues. I might be a bit bolshy. I might be a bit salesy, but you know, for the first time in my career, I'm selling something
Oh
that I
my.
absolutely believe in, and that
Yes.
is young people
That's
of
it.
Croydon.
That's it.
You know, not FHM or the Daily Mirror anymore. I'm selling the
Yeah.
potential of these young people.
Yeah.
And
And you can't put a price tag. It's a bit like
no,
MasterCard.
no, these
Isn't
are,
it? Yeah.
you know, as I say to people, these are your future
Yeah.
your future workforce.
Yes.
You know,
That's it.
you
Yeah.
need to be with them.
Yeah.
You're going to have to fill these roles, and
Yes.
this is the pool of kids that are
Yeah.
going to do it.
Yeah.
We've got some incredible businesses that work with us. So another opportunity that's coming up next week is our golf day. And our golf days, you know, they're not a new thing for charities. They are good earners. But I will say that our golf days are pretty spectacular. So we have got 129 players from, I think it's about 30 companies. We've got the CEO, founder of ASOS.
Mm-hmm.
We've got one of the founders of, I can't say, DAZN, the boxing platform,
Okay.
DAZN.
Okay.
Huge boxing
Yes.
platform. We've
Yeah.
got Crystal Palace, big wigs coming down there, Mobster, and
Yeah.
loads of huge companies. So yes, that's great. A normal person would be like, okay, yeah, they're going to raise some money on the day. I'm thinking, if you're an up and coming business, how much would you pay
Yeah.
to have 10 minutes with the
Oh
founder
my
of
goodness.
ASOS?
I mean, that is networking at its peak,
Yeah.
isn't it?
So
Yeah.
golf hole sponsorships.
Yes.
If you want you might be a business kind of service company. If you want to reach these bigwigs, have 10 minutes on the golf pitch with them and the rest of the day to interact with them. That's priceless, but we're only charging you,
Yeah.
you know, a couple of £100, and the money goes to legacy.
Fantastic.
And so for the businesses that they support us, they're a part of a like-minded business community. So I would say to them that, yes, they get amazing feel-good factor of supporting young people.
Yeah.
They get to shape young minds to working in whatever industry that
Yeah.
you know that they're supporting us. But they then also get to access this great business network community that we have, and I think, and some of them do such a great job. So one of our biggest supporters are URW, the Westfield, and they not only support us with funding, but they've done volunteer days. They've come down, you know, they're making big plans for Croydon. They haven't underestimated that the big population in Croydon is young people. So they've held focus groups. Our young people have been able to say, no, we want a bit of, you know, live music here. We want this. We need this. We need this provision. And they've really listened.
Yeah.
And when we've seen the plans for Westfield, you can tell that our young people's voices have been included in it.
Fantastic.
And that's what I'm really hoping from the regeneration that is happening. That we make sure we include these young people.
Yes.
That we make sure they feel a part of it, because if they're not, it's not going to work.
And they will leave.
Yeah.
They will leave.
Yeah.
That is, you're incredible, by the way. Absolutely incredible. And a breath of fresh air.
Thank
you. You know, I think, you know, having that mindset of creating a business model with impact.
Yeah.
You know, I think so often I hear from third sector organizations that they're so reliant on the funding that if the funding is not there, they cannot survive.
Yeah, same for us.
But what you are describing is a very entrepreneurial, creative, problem-solving mindset that actually, if the solution does not exist, we're just going to create it.
Yes.
And I love the fact that you're not sitting waiting back for somebody else. Well, because that, you know, we don't sit in those parameters.
Yeah.
Who's made the rules? You know, so it's very disruptive.
Yeah,
Sonia.
I'm doing talks at the moment with a coffee company called Roasting Party, who have these amazing coffee connoisseurs who are up in like Mayfair, and all of
Good
that.
matches.
And then I thought to myself, okay, when when I was working in the prisons, there was this program called Redemption Roasters who would give barista training.
Yeah.
And like, do you want to give this whole neat situation?
Yes.
Can you give our guys barista training?
Yeah.
It's so hard to get your Saturday job, after school job, a job to fit around college and uni.
Yeah.
If you've got barista training,
Yeah.
you're halfway there. So you're going to be a B Corp company. You're doing everything to show that you are all CSR and social value. Let's put your money where your mouth is. Let's do a program for our seniors where we can train them in that skill, which can lead to a job. And then let's get your lovely people who are in Mayfair and Kensington to buy a cup of coffee for a kid in Croydon. Let's change that perception. Let's talk about kids in Croydon. Let's have these big blue chip companies in London and West London, because Croydon is a London issue. It's a national issue. It's not just, put them onto, let's talk about Croydon. Let's support them. Let's uplift them. We've seen it. I've seen it. I'm a kid from the 80s and 90s. I've seen the transformation of Brixton, for example, and how they kind of rolled their sleeves up and made a massive difference. Same in Hackney. And it's happening for Croydon.
It is.
The future looks amazing for our young people.
And I think the interesting thing about Croydon is that we underestimate that Croydon is an international gateway.
Yeah.
And we are always 15 minutes away from central London or 15 minutes away from Gatwick Airport. So actually, location, incredibly well positioned. And, by the footprint of having, large businesses relocating from central London to Croydon, there are so many diverse economies. What would you say is one big myth that you would really like to debunk around the borough, and especially when it comes to young people?
I think it is that the young people of Croydon are lawless. They're on the streets brawling. Knife crime is, it's just, you wouldn't send in, you wouldn't go. It's not. It's a statistical issue. It's no different from any other borough. It's just, as I said before, we have the largest population of young people. Now, when you look at that, so young people under 25, we've got the largest population of that in London, possibly the UK. The most likely time for someone to have their first negative interaction with the police or be arrested is 16 to 24. Frontal lobes don't develop until you're 25 in some cases for boys. So, of course, the borough is going to have their fair share, exactly that, their fair share of that. And yes, they've had a rough old ride. I remember Croydon in the 80s and 90s. As I said, I was a Blue Orchid girl. I remember going when I was about 14, 15 down to Croydon, sod the Glades in Bromley. I was getting 2 buses to Croydon to get, I think it was like Shelley shoes and an Averex jacket or something. And it was, what an adventure. This place was like, wow. And it has had its difficulties. It really, really has. But what that has created is kids with real grit. Like I said before, doing this isn't a hobby. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna do this. They've got real grit. When you have nothing and no support, and you've got that fighting spirit, and somewhere like Legacy to help channel it, you're gonna make it. And look at the people we've got: the Stormzys, Olivia Dean, Lola Young. We've got people. Our young people can see this now, and I want to see it more from the business community, especially from our entrepreneurs. For example, I met a gentleman from Asset Property the other day, Leon Jones, who'd be a fantastic mentor for our young people. Mario Appello from Fireway Pizza. A boy, my gosh, have you heard his story? Like 20 odd years old, opens up a little pizza shop. Now he's,
Now you see them everywhere.
And he's, part of the culture, the music scene. if we could get someone like him in front of our young people, it would
Are
be
you
so
listening, Mario?
I've tried. Answer my emails. Otherwise, I can't eat any more pizzas. But this is, yes, I want children to see the business opportunities within Croydon, but I also want to inspire them in their entrepreneurial skills as well.
Yeah.
And, for every business, there is an entrepreneur who founded that business.
Yeah.
Someone helped you along the way. Something
Yeah.
inspired you along the way.
Yeah.
Put some money back into the young people of Croydon. And as well, it's about, again, making children feel inclusive to that. If you're coming to Croydon and you're opening a fancy bougie shop and you don't interact or open it up to the young people of Croydon, they're not going to respect it.
You would have lost your future consumers.
Yeah. If you're a maintenance provider, Sure Serve or Mears Group, rocking up, I've got to open the door to these people, Mum said, oh, actually, I know Mears Group. We paid them at football at Legacy.
Yes.
Oh, gosh, that's Billy from TW Drainage. Hi, how you doing? Even I've got to give them a mention as well. TW Drainage, who are a subcontractor. Anything drainage, oh God. These lads are phenomenal young men who've done so well. Started from nothing, age 16, he left school and made it in the world of the glamorous world of drainage. And my God, he make it, seem glamorous. He's doing phenomenally well. TW Drainage is one of our biggest supporters of Legacy. I think, when you're successful, you don't have to give back, but he chooses to, not just to Legacy.
Yeah.
Pretty much anyone that involves young people in sport. I think, what can we do? How can we support it? And our trustees are business owners in the borough as well. And again, you are going to be recruiting. If your business is to be successful, you're going to want to recruit people locally.
Yeah.
You're going to want to support families locally. Get involved with Legacy.
Yeah.
For example, there's summer holidays coming up. So for some of our skilled working families, that's a really difficult time. There's 8 weeks or so here. I've got to try and work. I've got to try and find youth care provision. Why can't some of the big employees of Croydon go, we'll fund your kid to go to the holiday club at Croydon? It's a win-win situation.
It is.
The kid is somewhere safe for the summer holidays, well-fed, lots of activities, and mum can continue to work, which, putting your business hat on, that's what you want. You don't want absenteeism. You don't want issues with the family. You don't want, mum having to leave because there's an issue at school and because somewhere like Legacy is really helping support that family. So I think businesses with large employee population should really look at Legacy as an employee benefit.
I was just about, you took the words right out of my mouth. Absolutely.
100%.
Things like that make employers, places of choice to work.
Part of the community. We're not thinking about you as an employee, we're thinking about the family as a whole. And our holiday clubs, it's £14-15 a day. Now I can't, when my daughter was young, it was she's 20 now, I was at least looking at like £30-40.
Yeah,
so gosh knows what they cost now.
No, I know.
And like I said, and again, mum can pick up some extra hours in the afternoon and evening, knowing her kid is somewhere safe. It's a benefit to employers.
It is.
And at the moment, we're looking for support to help our children into employability skills. We do it through our youth work with CV interview skills. Like I said, we help get work placements. I'd love for us to have a very specific year-long employability program to help with this situation of the neets that we've got going on. And we need a business to fund it. So Legacy, yes, we get our £5 membership. I mean the I was going to say gaff then, the gaff. The youth centre costs £1.6 million a year to run.
Wow.
And we get that from Trance and Grass and the grants and the business community. We need the business community to support us to carry on doing what we're doing. And they've got a real opportunity there to help shape your future workforce into whatever industry, that you're helping to support us with. So it's a win-win situation for the kids and for the businesses getting involved.
Definitely.
It's really easy for parents and carers to access Legacy. You don't need a referral. You just go on the website, sign up with all your details. It's £5 membership and 50p per session. However, if you're for example, from the care, if you're a care experienced child, or you're for a refugee or asylum seeker, or a displaced family, we do have funds that cover that fee as well. And in terms of age ranges, we do junior sessions Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays. So that's 8 to 12-year-olds. And they also do holiday club for that age group as well. So every school holiday, you can have low cost provision from, I think it's from 9 o'clock till 6 o'clock for £15.
That's amazing.
And they get breakfast, lunch and dinner. So we do that school provision as well. And then for seniors, which is our most, concerned about population in Croydon, that is from 12 to 19 years old. That is from 5 till 9 o'clock at night. So we kind of hit that late night need that the government's been talking about. And if you have additional needs, we take it from 8 to 25 on a Sunday with our Beyond Limit session. So you've basically got 3 sessions a week for 4 hours. The juniors is 4 till 8 o'clock. So yeah, it's the perfect place to send your kid safely to after school. Once a child enters Legacy, they go into it looks like a TARDIS. It just opens up to this massive room, and there's no pressure. You can sign up to certain programs, but when you come in, the kids can pop in and out of each room, see what activity is going on. There's always something different. And then they invariably choose to stay an hour in the art room. Then they might go up and do some karaoke for a bit, and dances on. We've also just started, we've got a UFC gym. So that's really special. So our MMA gym is sponsored by UFC.
Wow.
And about once or twice a year, the UFC fighters come down and do a training session with the kids.
Okay.
So, they're getting, like I said, they're getting exposure to amazing people, amazing brands, amazing companies. And, you can walk into Legacy and in any one day have cooked in the kitchen, recorded a song, had a sparring session with a UFC trainer, and then interviewed Vic from the Sidemen because he's popped down to see you.
Yeah.
The possibilities are endless, and they're always changing. For parents, have a look on our website and our programs, see what's going on. Follow us on social media, on Instagram. That's where we post all the different programs we're doing and the celebrity visits that we have, and how we're working with local businesses. But yeah, £5 a year, 50p per session if you need to pay. And also as well, check out if you're a parent on a low income. We get half funding from Croydon Council. So again, the summer holidays, they pay for provision for your kids to come if you're on a low income. And I think the other thing actually I haven't touched on is we're this huge building, big fancy building in North Croydon. So we do stand out, but it is well deserved. And during the day, we're a community hub. So during the day, we have places like Orchard Hill, which is a disability college where their young people come and use our facilities.
Okay.
We have the Brits come and do they come down for a Thursday afternoon. They do like sports and yoga. They use our space. Crystal Palace, Palace for Life Foundation, on a Monday, they run a football club for refugees. We're doing a partnership with DWP for job skills. Who else have we got? City Academy for football academy in Croydon use our space. So we're not just a youth centre, we're a community hub. So we reach probably about 1,000 to 1,500 visits a week through our partnerships.
That's no mean feat.
Yeah.
Wow.
And when you think about that footfall and you come in, hopefully you'll be coming and see us. and you see how sparkling it is,
Yeah.
you think, yeah, these kids are all right. They respect this place.
Yes.
So yeah, we're so much more than a youth centre.
Yeah.
We're a community hub that does really important work for other kids in the borough as well.
My goodness. So incredibly inclusive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And a final question. You're part of the Onside Youth Zones
Yes.
Network. What does that mean?
So Onside, the founder of Onside was an incredibly successful businessman, and I think based up north. And he used his money wisely and invested in the young people and opened the first youth zone. And from there, it has just catapulted. So Onside, as I said, do lots of research into young people and identify areas across the UK where there's the most need, high levels of deprivation. So I think we're on about 18 youth zones. I think there's 3 more in the pipeline to be built or are currently under construction. So that's really great. Although Legacy is an independent charity, we have that support from Onside in terms of data, research.
So you're actually able to measure the impact.
Yes, exactly. So when a kid signs up to Legacy, they see our little youth workers with these tablets, and it's called Me Apps. And we ask them a series of questions about where they're at, happiness, confidence, mental health, involvement in school. And then every 3 months we track. So we're able to see their improvements, what they're engaging with. We've also got Youth Voice, so the kids tell us, because there's no point me telling kids what they need to do today. So we've got the Youth Voice team of kids who feed back to us about that. So yeah, we're able to track that, and we're able to then track that on a national level. And also as well, if you're an up and coming business in Croydon who is slowly becoming a national business rather than a regional business, we've got a youth zone in your area. We can be not only a small local charity, we can also give you a national youth offering. The combination of children in London, we've got 4 youth zones in London. Combined, we've got 12,000 children in London. I think Legacy is the largest youth services provider in Southeast London. And I think we're only second to the YMCA nationally terms of youth provision.
That's something to be incredibly proud of.
Yeah, it's a massive network, and who have each youth zone building that you see is absolutely incredible and inspiring. And it's really important for us to be part of that network. It gives us that research and data that smaller charities don't have. So we're looking at things not just as a Croydon issue, but a national issue for our young children, and sharing that information helps us shape the programs or the strategies that we need to support the young people of Croydon.
And there's so much that just in this whole conversation, you've spoke about the mission, the impact, and definitely I think the add-on actually, yes, this is good for business, and we're in an economy, we're not in a growth economy at the moment. So, we've got to, rather than thinking just about, okay, so how are we just putting out today's fires? Because there'll be another fire tomorrow, another fire, another fire. If we have a more joined up long-term strategy that is future generational focus, that is future workforce focus, that is thinking of that chain of succession, you're creating a multiple entry point into various industries, which is fantastic. I can talk to you for hours, Sonia. But I have a few rapid fire questions for you that I'm going to ask you. So don't overthink this.
All right.
Just whatever comes to the top of your mind. Just one word that describes Croydon's young people.
Hopeful.
Early start at Legacy or late finish?
Late finish.
Sports hall, music studio, or art room?
Music studio. I rep the music team.
Email, WhatsApp, or phone call?
WhatsApp.
I know. WhatsApp's the new channel, isn't it?
WhatsApp.
Yeah. Right. One quality, great youth worker or mentor needs?
Patience.
That's good.
Patience.
I like that. That. A Croydon landmark that means something to you?
Ooh. It's that Blue Orchid building, and those roundabouts. Oh my goodness, it is. I see it derelict and empty, and I drive past it, and I think, oh, we had so much fun.
Needs a revival, does it?
We need that. Yeah. We need that back. I mean, Box Park is great. It does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
But I think some dubstep. I think was came from Croydon, and we've got some real kind of early garage and drum and bass and the record shops and things like that. We need to bring that liveliness back again. And for people like me in our 40s, I want to share that what music was like and what clubbing was like and raving was like, with our younger generation. I don't think they'll ever get to experience it. It's a different world now. But that's what brought us together as kids. Yeah. I came from quite a privileged background, but through music, I made a wide variety of friends, and it opened up, doors for me, and working at Rewind and things like that. And I've been a big fan and supporter of the culture ever since.
Fantastic. Best thing that you've seen a business do for young people?
Best thing that I've seen. I think it's giving them those work placements. So Hollis and HDR, shout out to you. I'm so excited for the young boys that are going there. They're doing these 2-week work placements for them, and what do I wear, and and we're talking to them about kind of workplace etiquette, because there's so much more to it than just turning up. So we're doing that prep behind the scene. TW Drainage, again, we're taking a group of kids down there to their wonderful offices. When I met Tom and Billy, and they were talking, there was one kid that just kept popping in my mind. I thought, so and so, it's just like them when they were younger. He's gonna love it here. So I can't wait. I'm gonna grab him, put him in the minibus, and take them down there. So for me, it's when of course funding's needed, and putting food in the mouths is needed. But it's these workplace opportunities that they're giving us is fantastic. And it can change their lives.
3 words that describe Legacy Youth Zone at its best.
Safe, supportive, and aspirational.
Oh, that's a powerful combination. One thing that you wish every business leader knew about young people?
That the kids are all right. Stop. And also as well, I need to say one thing.
Oh, please do.
And it might cause a few ruffled feathers.
Or is there an unpopular opinion coming?
It's a little bit of a telling off.
Okay.
Because sometimes I talk to a wide variety of business owners and people in Croydon. And one thing, those of us that are doing well, one thing we need to stop saying is, but I'm from South Croydon.
But yes.
Oh, but I'm from South Croydon.
Yes.
Or, but my children are educated here. No, we need to stop this north-south divide in Croydon, because if you're in, South Croydon, it affects you too. It is going to affect your house prices. It's going to affect your starting up. We're all one community, and so we need to. Again, it's going back to how the words we talk. We need to honour and uplift those children, because those children could be working for your business one day. One day, I'd like it even better if your biggest competitor was one of my kids from Legacy. I'm going to do everything to make sure they're going to keep you on your toes, because when we've got that grit and graft in us and that entrepreneurial spirit, sky's the limit.
Oh my
goodness. I want Croydon to be Croydon as a whole.
Yes.
And
Croydon is not just a high street or or north or south.
There's
a whole so
borough.
many different wards that feed into each other.
And I never see it the other way around. When I talk to people like in Fulton Heath and West Croydon, it's they talk about the beautiful spaces, they talk about South Croydon. There's never the divide there. So again, we need to think about the words that we're using. They're so powerful. and kids are so impressionable.
Yeah.
And we are one Croydon. We all will benefit from the changes that are happening. And if we want it to be a success, we've got to make sure everybody is included in it.
Yeah.
One of the other things I say when I'm at Legacy is people come around and they're like, wow, it's amazing. And it is spotless. The equipment never gets broken. There's never any graffiti.
Yeah.
Because if you give young people something of value, they cherish it and hold it.
Yeah.
So when that high street is built with the plazas and the fancy shops, we need to make sure that they cherish and hold that space too.
Yeah.
And this is my Croydon. This is what I'm part of.
Oh, I love that.
What you can have if they're not included, they won't respect it and they won't safeguard it.
Yes.
We've got a real opportunity here to change the narrative about Croydon, and it starts with us.
Yes.
I mean, I have to catch myself.
Yes.
You know, there's some blog pages out there that I'd like to have a little chat with. We need to stop highlighting the negative because the negative is everywhere, and it's a low hanging fruit now. It's such an easy joke. It's become boring.
Yeah.
But it has a massive impact on those young minds. You know, like we used to do this in the youth offending thing of the power of words, and we used to have one young man sat there and one young man sat there, and one group would bombard them with negative words and insults, and the other one would be uplifting, and we'd do a meditation, look at our body and feel, where do I feel it? And it has a physical effect. You see it in science programs where we talk negatively to an apple or a tree.
Yeah.
This is happening in real time.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously I've come from a sector that has got the most challenging kids, and I still blinking love them. And so when I've come to Croydon, I've met these kids at Legacy. They are fantastic. I have got no qualms introducing one of those kids to a business community here. I know they will do me proud. I know they will inspire those people. And I just implore anyone to come down to Legacy, have a look, come on session, and get rid of those stereotypes, because you have got an amazing community of creative, entrepreneurial kids here. And you'll be absolute idiots if you don't scoop them up and look after them.
Oh, I love that.
And we want them to stay. When my boys and girls are successful, I want them to reinvest into Croydon, not move off to, you know, Chelsea, Stormzy. You know, they are our future, and we've got to look after them now.
Yeah, and you know, what I hear coming through so loud and clear from you there is actually it's about, and I'm from Croydon, not but I'm from Croydon.
Yeah.
You know, wear it like a badge of honor or a blue plaque that's, you know, so that it is, you know, owning it, not being apologetic for it. So.
And we need to change that narrative.
Yeah.
Start new stories, start new conversations that the kids can hear, and start having a bit of pride in who they are, and that you'll see the kids will just grow from that.
One word that gives you hope right now.
Investment. I think, you know, listening about the social media ban, then Sadiq Khan's talk about investing into youth clubs. The tide is changing. Like I said before, when youth services were cut 10, 15 years ago, I saw the result of that. Busloads of kids coming into Wormwood Scrubs, Feltham, HMP ISIS. We saw that, and people tried to ignore it. Funding is happening. I think what I would say is, with that funding, we need to be a bit cautious. £1 million, if you're intending on building a new youth club and staffing it,
doesn't go far
in the ocean.
No, absolutely.
What would be better is to invest in establish youth centres, and not just Legacy. There are others in the borough. Fund those ones who have got a great safeguarding track record, who have policies in place, who have these connections. I don't think we necessarily need a new built youth centre. We need to amplify the ones we've got, so we can branch out a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the tide is changing, and again, investment, like I'm seeing the business community invest in our young people, and that's what they need to think of it as. This isn't like, oh, my business is quite doing well, here's a little tax benefit. It's investing in your future workforce, investing in the families that already work for you, investing in your future competitor. Croydon is about to really pop off, and we can make it one of the best boroughs in London if we invest in that generation. And like you said, don't be short-sighted. It's not the next 2-3 years, it is the next 8 years. That 8-year-old boy that comes in today, in 8 years' time, is going to be looking for his first part-time job. And I want to make sure I'm giving you the most well-rounded, confident young man to represent your business. So help invest in us to do that. It will only benefit you.
I'm sold.
Sonia.
So you've given us so much food for thought here. And, those last few points especially, I think, are some really good key takeaways. How do people find you and get in touch and get involved?
So on the Legacy Youth Zone website, you can see the contact details for me. On Instagram, Legacy Youth Zone, send us a DM, say I heard Sonia chatting, can we meet? No obligation. I don't want you to come and I'm gonna put a checkbook in front of you. I want businesses, the first port of call is just come down, spend some time, see what you think about these kids. I guarantee once you've spent a session with us, your perceptions of the children in Croydon will change. And it's not just that we're placed in North Croydon, that all the kids there from, we've got every single ward in the borough comes to Youth Zone. So I think the first port of call is just come, find out what we do, have a chat with me from a business marketing perspective. Who do you need to network with? Who can I connect you with? And what can I do to strengthen your future workforce? And then we can build something bespoke. I don't like, we've got this level of patronage. That's all very much needed. What do you need?
Yes.
How does it work for my young people?
Yes.
Let's create something unique and build that and go with it.
A mutually beneficial relationship.
Yeah.
Love that. Sonia, it has been an absolute pleasure
having
you on the Croydon Chat sofa. We're definitely going to have to get you back on again because I think this was only a drop in the ocean. About all the amazing things that you're doing, the impact that you're making. And I think we're 8 months into being with Legacy Youth Zone. This is only the start. This is only the start. So so we're going to have to get you back in so you can update us again. And I think, thank you so much for just showing us that if you invest a bit of time, space, energy, interest in young people, what those spin-offs are, and how it helps everybody. So thank you so much.
Next time I'm going to bring one of our entrepreneurial seniors down.
Oh.
And so you can see who I'm dealing with and see that potential firsthand.
Look forward to it.
Lovely. Thank you.